wanna get high, man?
Let's stimulate your mind.
Get up, Chucky!
What have we got here? A fucking comedian.
Rojan Kim.
Hello, and welcome to the Rojan Kim cast with me, Rojan Kim. Thank you so much for joining me today, the day after Thanksgiving, the day where you were tasked to isolate yourself in order to save lives. Did you save lives? Did you save the lives? It's up to you. It's up to you to save the lives, not the medical professionals or public health people or anybody out there who are supposed to be saving lives. It's up to you. It's not even up to our leaders because, as you remember, Gavin Newsom went to the French Laundry, one of the most exclusive restaurants in California, violated all the rules that he decided upon for Thanksgiving. I think his basic rules were like, all right, everybody for Thanksgiving, don't do any of the stuff I just did at French Laundry. I think that's what that's why the medical board was there, because they were all discussing what the rules should be for Thanksgiving, and they were like, definitely let's not do any of the things we're doing right now, which is not distancing, not wearing masks, gathering indoors, talking loudly, none of that. Let's not do any of this that we're doing right now. I mean, let's not let them do it. We can do it. It's fine. The Denver mayor, Michael Hancock, I think that's his name, he urged people to stay home, urged them to isolate, urged them to not see their families, urged them to not travel. And then, of course, he himself traveled to Mississippi to see his daughter because he was like, it's with a heavy heart. I really miss my family, and I really decided, and I made the assessments and the risks. But you guys stay home. You guys quarantine. I'm not gonna. So it's the old rules for thee, not for me meme. That's a meme going around, and they all do as I say, not as I do, right? The people in power are obviously better than us rabble. They're better than us, peons, peasants, right? They're better than all of us. So the virus won't get them. It's going to get you, you dummy, not me. I'm an elected official. I'm a government official. I'm special. I'm better than you. I'm better than you, and the virus knows it, okay? So we're fine. You're not. That's how it is. And this is our new world, guys. We're in it, Everybody's been talking about the new world order, Brave New World, 1984. All of it's here. All of it's here. It's here right now. We're in the middle of it. Isn't that great? Isn't that great? And, I think this is a trend that's been going on since, say, the turn of the century, the 21st century. You had the financial crash 8 years after that. And then what did they do? They transferred all the wealth from the lower and middle classes to the upper classes. And for the COVID crisis 10 years later, what did they do? Transfer all the wealth again to all the rich. Yay! So that the wealthy people of the world have more and the poor people have less. And then that just means there's more and more poor and less wealthy. And that's the way it's going to go, right? Until we get to neofeudalism. Yay! Some form of neofeudalism, some form of the way things used to be. I remember back in the financial crisis days, there was this paper that was leaked by Citibank that was talking about the incoming plutocracy, the incoming sort of increasing disparity of wealth, and how there's going to just be more haves and have-nots, so we should get ready. What are we going to do about social unrest? Billionaires have been asking journalists, in these private forums. They have these things at Davos, World Economic Forum stuff, and then they'll ask the journalists, what should we do when the monetary system is devalued and we can't pay our staff? How do we prevent an uprising? It's actually kind of remember in Arrested Development when Buster's, what he studied was 18th century agrarian politics, and he's like, are you all concerned about an uprising? Well, he's gonna be an expert. That's very necessary soon. We're gonna need a guy like Buster in there. We're gonna need a guy in there who understands the group dynamics of a massive amount of peasants, a massive underclass that has nothing but will be happy. And which is what the World Economic Forum is positing, giving us in the form of something they call the Great Reset. Now, if you look up the Great Reset online, one of the first things that will pop up are news articles that are like, ooh, conspiracies. Like I saw a news article from the Daily Beast that was like the first conspiracy theory raising its head in the new incoming Biden presidency is the Great Reset, right? It's fear mongering by conspiracy theorists. They'll point to like Alex Jones. Alex Jones is Alex Jones is like coming up with lie. I have the document. He's a kooky guy. This kooky guy, this crazy man with his kooky sayings and all that stuff, right? Here we go. Daily Beast. The Biden presidency already has its first conspiracy theory, the Great Reset. Now, isn't that interesting? As a news article that already has Biden as president. Honestly, at this moment, in November of 2020, Biden is not the president. Okay, he's still not the president. Maybe he might be the president-elect, but we won't know that until the votes are certified in a couple of weeks. So stay tuned for that. I can't wait to see what happens there because, isn't that going to be a great surprise? All those people dancing in the streets, huh? Isn't that going to be a big old wake-up call for them? And then everything will burn, of course. But here we go. Conspiracy theorists, here we go. New York Times, the baseless Great Reset conspiracy theory rises again. Baseless. Baseless? Baseless. Now, if you simply Google Great Reset and World Economic Forum, you will see that the World Economic Forum itself is touting the Great Reset. The World Economic Forum is it's just like a club of the mega rich. It's like the 0.01% of the rich or whatever. But you know what? You don't have to take my word for it. Here is, let's see, what's his name here? This guy, his name's Klaus Schwab. Klaus Schwab is the founder of the World Economic Forum, and here he is speaking at the Chicago Council on Global Affairs. Let's see. Let's pull this up. Bear with me here 1 second.
It's at the end. What the fourth industrial revolution will lead to is a fusion of our physical, our digital, and our biological identities. When I wrote the book, I started to write it 4 years ago. It was published 3 years ago. It was sold, very interesting, over 1 million times in the world. And what is interesting is that 800,000 copies, more than 800,000 copies of those 2 million were sold in 3 countries alone: China, Japan, and South Korea. And you may be interested, who was the biggest buyer with 16,000 copies at the same time? It was the Korean military. Because the fourth industrial revolution will have a major impact also on warfare.
Okay, so that was Klaus Schwab. He's talking about his book called The Fourth Industrial Revolution. Okay, his next book after that, he put out a new book. You heard him. He almost sold 1 million copies. Good for you, Klaus. I mean, he's like a billionaire or something, but I guess that it's all about the clout, right, Klaus? It's all about that Klaus clout. Anyways, his next book is called COVID-19, the Great Reset. Okay, so how is this baseless? This is a baseless conspiracy theory? Okay, wait, let's ask Justin Trudeau.
Building back better means getting support to the most vulnerable while maintaining our momentum on reaching the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and the SDGs. Canada is here to listen and to help. This pandemic has provided an opportunity for a reset. This is our chance to accelerate our pre-pandemic efforts to reimagine economic systems that actually address global challenges like extreme poverty, inequality, and climate change.
I apologize for that was Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau openly saying that the pandemic is an opportunity for a reset, great reset, an economic reset. And all of this is, of course, under the guise of helping people. We want to help people. Great reset. You gotta help people. Right? I also apologize for his extra sibilant S's. His S's. The Great Reset. Reset. I don't know what that is. Maybe that's kind of like his new blackface. Maybe now he's doing gay face or gay voice or whatever. Because he's super progressive. He's progressive, and he just wants to be something I guess, besides the straight white guy, which I think, according to critical race theory, is the worst thing you could be. Anyways, I'm verging into critical race theory. Well, I'm sure all of this stuff is converging: the critical race theory, the World Economic Forum, the Great Reset stuff, all that stuff. It's all, I don't know. Build back better. That's what he says at the very beginning. Build back better, right? And if you look around, there's plenty of whatever, like pictures and stuff like this. Build back better is a slogan being used by the Biden transition, by everybody, by the, like, just all around the world. Government agencies are using the phrase build back better, which only means that they obviously love it. They love that phrase. Somebody came up with it and they're like, God, better BBB. We love it. And then, obviously it was a great marketing campaign. Is that what it is? I don't know. I got here, look, you got Boris Johnson. So London's got it, what's this? Canada's got it. Like, Australia's got it. Like, a lot of I guess maybe just all the English-speaking countries got it. But listen to what Klaus Schwab said. The fourth industrial revolution is about the digitization of biology, of money, of everything being digitalized. And who was the number one purchaser of the book? The South Korean army. Yeah, Koreans. And you know what? Here's the thing. I don't actually have what they may call KP, which is Korean pride, which is sort of like nationalistic pride or ethno pride about being Korean. I have been, maybe if I wasn't a child of neglect and I had some parents around, I would appreciate what being Korean was, and I wouldn't be such a crazy individual, forced out into the world to dodge pedophiles and kidnappers and, make my way through the city of Los Angeles as a latchkey kid, completely unsupervised, taking the bus, when I was little, just to go places to try to steal computer software, when I was riding my bus or riding my bike and dodging prostitutes and gang members, and that's nearly joining a gang and then realizing that I wasn't Mexican. These are all things that could happen to a child being left alone to his own devices in a city like Los Angeles, where nothing really means anything. You can cloak yourself in any form of identity or costume, where acting, which is really the highest form of lying, is prized above everything else. And then below that is materialism, and very, 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 very low at the bottom is any form of intellectualism or, book reading. That's like that's way at the bottom. Look, if you didn't have a car and you read books, like, I don't know, you probably weren't allowed to procreate, I mean, I don't know. Well, listen, I got laid. I don't know. That's what you got to do is, like, if you're poor, you don't have any fame, you don't have any, your parents aren't actors, whatever, you just don't have that the status or whatever, you gotta have a good game, you gotta have a good game. So I had a decent game, the game of falling hopelessly in love for sluts. No. Writing poems that nobody cared about. I will not write poems. No more poems. Did that. There comes a time in a man's life he's got to stop writing poems for women. Okay, just stop it. Just do. I mean, that's maybe that. Okay, if she's into poetry, she loves her poetry. Okay, write her a poem. Do it. But just fucking, I don't know, do something. The poem is a sort of analogy for the meat the hunter would bring over. Bring her some meat. All right, that's a metaphor, and it doesn't have to be your dick. You know what I mean? That's not, unless it is. I mean, I don't know. I'm not here to tell you what to do, like our leaders, right? Like they want to do with the Great Reset, like all of that. Okay. Now listen, I'm not a journalist. Okay, thank God, I'm not a journalist. I feel like I'm turning into one because journalism is so bad that even I could be one. I could be a journalist. I mean, I wouldn't make any money. I could call myself a journalist, actually telling the truth, and then I'd be labeled a Nazi and blah, blah, blah. Or I could sell out and go into the big time, go join the corporate media, become a face for the corporate state sort of military-industrial complex, or the Mickey Mantle, as Ray McGovern says. You know about the Mickey Mantle, right? Military-industrial, congressional intelligence, media, academic think tank complex that he talks about. So that's pretty. I mean, if you think about it, it does make sense that there would be a sort of concerted effort to keep the war machine going. But is that a conspiracy? Conspiracy. A baseless conspiracy. Is that, I have the documents. Is that a conspiracy? See, there's evidence that conspiracy theory, the term conspiracy theory, was actually coined by guess who? The CIA. The CIA coined the term conspiracy theory as a means of discrediting people, particularly, I think, after the Kennedy assassination, to discredit people who had theories about the Kennedy assassination. They became the moon landing, everything, right? And then people just go, you tinfoil hat, kook, you tinfoil hat, kook. And now you could see that even more. It's just an ad hominem attack, right? It's called an ad hominem, guys. It's when you don't have an actual argument, so you just attack the person. It's like Rudy Giuliani's hair dye. It's like, look at Trump in his tiny hands, or look at, or he's a racist. Any of that stuff. And then it goes on even further. Oh, that's from Fox News. You can't believe that. I don't believe the data. The data must, that data, I don't trust that you are a good person, so you must be manipulating the data because the data doesn't agree with what my preconceived notion was. And so that's where we are in terms of logical discourse. There isn't any. There isn't any because critical thinking has been eroded from the public education system. We have a consumer-based society that needs commercials to keep it going, and in order to be susceptible to commercials and advertising, you can't have good critical thinking skills. And luckily, not only does that help guide commerce, but also public policy. Just information transfer, or the acceptable and listen. It's not that different from state media, like in North Korea. In North Korea, they'll have some lady come out and be like, Kim Jong-un today slayed 3 bears with 1 foot, or something like that. I don't know. So he's like, he kicked a bear in the face, and then the bear went. It's like this booming voice, this booming authoritative voice of Kim Jong-un today manhandled 10 tigers and tamed them all. Now he has 10 tigers as pets. They crawl all over him and lick him like kittens. I don't know. I don't know why every single Kim Jong-un story is about him conquering some animal. I feel like I know my people, and that's just what they'd be doing. And in addition to reading about the 4th Industrial Revolution, where they're digitizing everybody, maybe their plan is to digitize North Korea. Maybe they're who's to say the North Korean army isn't buying all the books too, and it's gonna be the Koreans are gonna try to digitize each other, and ironically, that's how they're gonna merge into one. That's how they're gonna unify the country by becoming Borg-like, becoming part of a giant collective, and then even more, I will be ostracized from Korean society. I haven't had part of Korea. The thing I was getting at before was that I'm the least Korean American in the country. I think. I don't know. It's not that I don't. That's not true. I've known worse. I've known not worse, but I know a lot of Koreans who are adopted by nice white families, especially back east. There's a lot of that going on. In New York and stuff, Long Island. A lot of Korean kids who have been adopted by nice Italian, Jewish, whatever, nice families who either decided, hey, we want to adopt, or who, I don't know, wanted someone who would clean the house for free or something. I don't know. Of course not. That's not, trust me. No, they're not. They're very, well, the ones I've met were incredibly privileged, because I guess you got to have some money to move to New York. I was living on government money, so I can't really, as much as I rail against the government, I can't rightfully say don't dump money on us, because I've been taking the money this whole time. All right, I know I'm going off on tangents. I apologize. I'm very excited because it's a brave new world, everybody. It's a brave new world order. Brave new world order. And I guess I don't want to go on and on about how it's not a conspiracy. My point is the Great Reset. It's not a conspiracy. Okay, it's there in plain sight. They're telling us in plain sight, and they're clearly, if you think about what's going on right now, it all kind of makes sense. Like, why are they closing restaurants instead of government buildings, right? When the data has been showing that more people are catching COVID in government buildings than in restaurants. Could it be? Isn't it interesting that most of the businesses that are affected by, including religious places that are affected by these lockdowns, are cash-centered businesses and entities? A lot of cash, a lot of sort of off-the-grid type places. And it's just coincidence that part of the goal of the Great Reset is a cashless society. That's probably just a coincidence. These are all coincidences. What are we going to do? The world is full of coincidences. Yeah, Build Back Better. They all just happen to have different. Actually, it's not all from. I bet it's not all from one marketing company. That slogan. I bet there's 50 separate marketing companies that came up with that phrase just independently on their own. Just a complete coincidence, and then each of those countries got that thing. I mean, these things can happen. The world is a crazy place, right? The world is a crazy place. That's not to be denied. And, we need to get a handle on it. That's what people are saying. That's what the super rich are saying. That's what the governor of California is saying. We need to get a handle on things. I mean, we don't have to. We're fine. But you guys are a mess, an unholy rabble. The mess. Just a bunch of... Look, with the way we're destroying all the small businesses and everything, no one's going to have a job. You're all going to be just unwashed masses. Do you see the homeless tents? Do you see the tent cities? Do you see all that? A lot of people fear them or despise them, or a lot of people embrace them. Whatever it is, there's a lot of feelings about it, but not from the powers that be, right? There's no... I mean, if health and decency and compassion and all that's a big thing, what about all these fucking people living on the street in tents? And how come you're not doing anything about it? How come you're shutting down businesses? How come you're going to fine people or arrest people who don't wear masks, but then, have a curfew, but then people who are experiencing homelessness? That's what it said in California. That's the California directive. That is literally a quote. People who are experiencing homelessness are exempt from curfew and exempt. Why is that? Could it be that that's what they want for all of us? Could it be that they're actually okay? They don't want you to have a business where you run a cash business where you're off the grid, you pay people under the table, you got all this whole thing. They want everything digitized and tracked. See? If everything's digitized and tracked and there's currency, it's just like PayPal. Everybody can get a little taste. See? Everybody can get a little cut, a little taste, a little piece of that action. How are they going to get a piece of that action if it's all in cash? Huh? We got to make the cash illegal. The cash is dirty. The cash has got COVID on it. You don't want that COVID cash. You want nice, you want credit. You don't want cryptocurrency either. We can't track. You don't want that. And if you do have it, we're going to track it. Okay? Don't go after these privacy coins. Don't go after those privacy coins. We're going to also print our own. Everybody's going to have a coin. Starbucks is going to have a coin. Facebook's having a coin. We're all having coins. The dollar will have a coin. There'll be coins everywhere. Everything will be coins. That's how we digitize everything. It's all coins. Okay? Get coins. Buy Bitcoin. Look, I guess my issue here is how to make the impending neofeudalism funny. Like, how do we make this humorous? Like, so we're going to own nothing. No, it will be a massive peasant class. We'll own nothing. I guess we will all be sort of getting UBI or something. Some form of trickle-down, massive, like, money type thing. Money that is now debased and meaningless. But we can all subsist. We subsist. Maybe they give everybody $1 million a month, and that gets you rent and food. You know what I mean? Like, that's how much. It's just some, and it doesn't even matter what million, whatever. Just keep moving the decimal points over and over. It's all digital anyways. It's digital. I'll just move. Just boop, boop, boop. There you go. They just print money. Why, and there's no need to actually print money. I mean, that's not really what they do. But, like, even that idea is just push the button. push the button and I just say add more money, yes, no, and then you go yes, and you click beep, add more money, and that's what'll happen, and then we'll all have money. It won't mean anything. We won't actually own objects or things because everything's digitized, everything's nanomachines, everything's virtual, everything's remote, so I don't have to worry about having an object. You need to actually get somewhere for some reason, like a fucking caveman. Okay, you need to actually move your meat sack through space somewhere. You can get an Uber, whatever. You don't own a car anymore. Nobody owns a car. There's some freedom of movement, but not much because, we all have the chip, the vaccine, little tattoo thingy or whatever, little safe pass, common pass. World Economic Forum is debuting something called common pass, right? So the vaccine, they're going to roll it out. You can't travel without it. It's very similar to the Mark of the Beast, and that's just a coincidence too. Mark of the Beast, yeah, it's just a coincidence. What do those Bible guys know? I mean, what a lot of people think, Mark of the Beast was just about Rome. That's it. Nothing to do with any kind of marking of people. I mean, it's not, of course, will there be some lunatic religious types who will lose it because we all have to get a mark in order to do commerce or travel, just like the Bible said it would, and then people, they freak out. Yeah, they would freak out. But you know what we do with those people? We silence them. We lock them up. We turn their families against them. We we lock them out. We deplatform. That's what we call it. And if everything is digitized, and you deplatform someone, that's death. That's exile. You can't travel. You can't do commerce. You can't do nothing. So is that funny? I don't. It's kind of funny. I mean, I guess I could. At this point, it's like, who do I make jokes for? I think it'd be better to make jokes for the rich at this point. I mean, I guess I am of the people. I'm of the people. But if it's going to get to the point where you're just a fucking peasant or you have something, I would kind of like to have something. I mean, you know what I mean? Like I would in my younger days, maybe when I was like 18 or something, I was kind of like a commie. I kind of was like, okay, I could see I understand communism in sort of like an idealistic way, as a young man would, right? Yeah, everybody should have everything. Everybody should have everything. Now as an older guy, 20 years from that, I've learned what working hard is. I've worked with people who don't work hard. I've worked with pieces of shit. I've worked with great people. I see that there's a wide variety of possibilities, and that what you should really reward and incentivize is working hard and, working smarter and working all that stuff. And communism just doesn't seem to do that. Instead ends up bringing out the worst in people because there's sort of a collectivizing thing that goes on. When you collectivize, then you kind of diffuse responsibility. A lot of people say that the Great Leap Forward turned into a famine because they had these like collective farms with these quotas, but there's no like individual incentive system. Like you didn't get paid for doing more work. So then why would you do more work? You would just do only as much work as the person doing the least amount of work is doing, because they're all getting paid the same. So productivity plummeted. And then on top of that, they didn't use a market system to determine supply and demand. You know what I mean? They didn't use a market. They didn't believe in it. So they just believed in the government coming in, the state coming in and dictating, like, we need X amount of grain and X amount of, and so then they would just start juking the stats. They would just, you know what I mean? They would just start, oh yeah, we have that much, send it to the government, everybody gets paid, so the system in itself just didn't lead to success because it incentivized not working hard, just like unemployment does for me. I'm incentivized to only work 1 or 2 hours a week, because the more I work, the less unemployment money I'll get, and then I'll lose the unemployment. You know what I mean? So I might as well just work very little, just so I keep the job, but then I can also keep the unemployment. It's all incentives. That's all it is. So is that funny? I don't know, but maybe that'll be fun. I think it's way funnier to make fun of the poor. I mean, I guess it's just, I got to read the room, right? And I got to leave myself open to all possibilities. I may be a jester for the neo-feudal court, whoever this neo-aristocracy is, the incoming lords and ladies coming in. I humbly offer myself as a New World jester. The New World Order as part of the Great Reset. I offer my services as a comedian to entertain the aristocracy, the court, as it were. Put me in, coach. Put me into the court. That's what I say. Put me in there. And then once in a while, I could be like, I'm not okay. This is not me saying that I am Mozart. or comparing myself to the genius of Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. I'm not saying any of that at all. All I'm saying is that just like Mozart would write shit for the Emperor of Austria, and then he would go to the whatever the people's operas and shit, the guy, like the fucking hoi polloi, the fucking. I want to do that. I want to be the Mozart of neo-feudal comedy. That's right. I want to be the Mozart of neo-feudal stand-up comedy. So I want to do comedy for the court, right? I want to come in, like in History of the World, the stand-up philosopher, comes in as the king and just does the thing, and then it's off with his head if I fucking bomb, which is, hey, don't get me wrong, it's thrilling. I think it's thrilling, right? And then I'll go to the people's theater. It's all dirty and bad. There's whores everywhere, and people are just fucking getting high and drunk and whatever. And whores, a lot of whores everywhere. But whores love to laugh, and they have money. So I'll entertain the whores, and just a massive amount of mostly whores. I guess that's the main commerce in this new neo-feudal system where everything is provided for. I mean, there's no need to make money. Everybody just has a bunch of money. Just nobody owns anything except their own assholes and pussies. So you could sell that, and maybe they'll use Bitcoin to fucking trade their asses and pussies. Anyways, I will entertain the masses as well. The unwashed, gross, dirty masses. I'll take your money and make you laugh, you little fucking piggies. Yeah. Then also I take all their money. And then I feel like either way, in either situation, whether it's the court, the aristocracy, or the groundling sort of masses, the unwashed masses, I could be killed if I bomb. Okay, if I bomb, the king will just say off with his head, or not. If I bomb, in some ways, if I like started roasting the king and all the court laughed, I could easily die from that. Officially, if I accidentally made fun of some aristocrat who then decides to hire a hitman and kill me, there's probably nothing stopping him from doing that. I have no power. I have nothing. I'm just a humble performer at the whim of the powerful, but also of the many, of also the people. Because the people, if I piss them off, if I'm doing stand-up in front of the dirty fucking peasants and they get pissed off, they'll just rush me. I mean, they'll just rush me and grab me. You think any police or whatever, robo-police or whatever they have, that the drones that will come, you think maybe a drone will come and just drone strike the whole thing because I don't know. I would be torn. If I was a neo-feudal lord and I knew that my peasants were watching stand-up comedy and some of that comedy was at my expense, I might drone it. I mean, I might have a uprising on my hands. Are y'all dealing with an uprising? Are you all concerned about an uprising? All right. So anyway, I think it'll keep me honest. I think comedy will be better under threat of death. I do. Right now, or not right now. Okay, pre-pandemic, comedy was just becoming more and more boring. I was becoming bored. The most fun thing about comedy before the pandemic was just making comedians mad. I mean, it's kind of still fun now, but that's at least I did it in New York and I did it in LA, and I made some friends along the way, but really it was just, they're the worst people, these comedians. The worst. Trust me. I've been around a lot of degenerates, and they're by far the worst because they think they're funny. That's really why. It's just disgusting. It's disgusting. I know. I'm one of them. But for some reason, I am funny, and a lot of people aren't. Okay. So, anyways, the great thing about the pandemic was that now there was this perceived threat of death just by gathering in a dark room, just by doing this thing, this clandestine thing. Shout out to the litter box. This is clandestine thing. We're gathering in people's apartments, gathering in people, and it's like, ooh, and it's dangerous, and ooh, so that makes it fun. But on some levels, it's kind of dumb to me because I'm like, there's no threat. I don't know. I'm just not. Listen, like everybody else, I believe this thing was as bad as they said it was going to be. And then over time, you can see with your own eyes that it's not. And then over time, you can see with your own eyes what is happening. not reality, not the idea that like, oh yeah, it's not as bad as we thought, so it's cool. Let's roll back all this stuff, live life as normal, whatever. No, you could see that it got politicized and then pushed into the election. And then now we're in this post-election thing. We're and I just listened to this cool. Okay, if you go to the Ron Paul Liberty Report, one of the latest podcasts is a speech by Daniel McAdams, who's one of the co-hosts, and he basically underlines how Russiagate, COVID, and the election are all tied together. Like how he draws a line from one, and it makes complete and total sense. Not a conspiracy, okay? Not a conspiracy. These are libertarians, which some people say are Nazis, but so are the conspiracy. Anybody who's not on the left, whatever, on the correct way of thinking is a Nazi, which is exactly what commies do. Do you understand? Commies do that. Okay. Nazis do that too. I mean, whatever. Both sides do that. The authoritarians. You understand? The authoritarian element. We're trying to resist it, but at the same time, there may be no hope. And so prepare yourself for the coming Great Reset. I'm going to try to bone up on my dirty peasant and eat the rich jokes. I gotta be able to go into the fucking royal court and be like, you seen those unwashed masses out there? It's a good thing you're giving them free money. It's a good thing you're giving them that free money because what are they going to do? Fucking, they'd be fucking each other in the face. None of this is material. I'm just riffing there. That was bad. I will admit. That was not good. I am a little out of practice, and I honestly haven't. It's hard for me to relate to the rich. Maybe that's one of the things I gotta be like. I don't relate to you guys at all, but I certainly want to be one of you guys. Because have you seen those peasants? They fucking suck. They got gross. They stink on ice, as Mel Brooks said in History of the World. It's another History of the World Part 1 reference. There you go. Go watch that. So, anyways. How can we make the Brave New World funny? Brave New 1984, the coming neofeudalism, right? The techno-plutocracy, the New World Order, the Great Reset that's coming, Mark of the Beast, all of it. How do we make this funny? How are we going to, while we're all languishing in labor camps or death camps, or really just, I don't think it's going to be like that at all. I think it's going to be similar to the book Snow Crash. In the book Snow Crash, it's set in the future where nanotech is ubiquitous. Nanotech is ubiquitous, so there's no want or need for any objects, nothing. You can just make food. You can make gold if you want. You can make anything. So then it was just about like who becomes the elite in that. You would have like tons of poor people who are basically have everything. You got everything, and in some ways that is the same as owning nothing, right? If you can just print stuff, right? There's no more supply and demand. You just print anything you want, food even. You just whatever, you just take care of all the poor that way. Then what separates the people who have nothing from the people who have things? It's not money anymore. What is it? And in that book, it was education, information, right? It's education. The unwashed masses are not literally unwashed, not literally unwashed, but rather their minds are, their brains are, they haven't learned any, they're not literate, they're not, they just don't know anything, but they have stuff, right? It's kind of like idiocracy, right? Idiocracy is kind of like that, except nobody had any information there except for the one normal guy from our time, so it's like that. It's like the aristocracy becomes just people who know stuff. So I guess, that would be my angle. It would be like, I'd have to get in with this new, like, neo-feudal aristocracy, and by getting in, I guess maybe I get to get like one of their passwords to the internet or something, and then I start to learn. I can learn stuff, and then I have to finagle a way of not being killed by letting people know that I know stuff because I'm not allowed to know stuff. So there's got to be some way. Maybe there will be a profession of comedians where you get a Mark of the Beast, like some little digital pass that lets you learn stuff, but only for the sake of being an idiot or a clown about it, only for the sake of being a buffoon. So I think in some ways I'd have to go in and be like, boy, did you hear about how the peasants are fucking tricked into another pandemic, huh? Fucking retards, they didn't learn the first time. And they're like, ha ha ha. You know what I mean? Like that. It has to kind of be like that, and then I have to be like, oh, sorry, I've been going around spreading coronavirus 3 everywhere. I know that it started in Korea. I bet the new coronavirus 3 will start in Korea because the Koreans, they do it better. They take stuff that the other major civilizations do, like China. They're going to take COVID like they took Confucianism, and they're going to make it better, okay? SARS-3, this one's going to kill kids, okay? SARS-3 is going to kill, it should kill more people. Lots of people. I mean, it should really bring it home. Just kids, though. It was like the reverse of COVID, of SARS-2. The next COVID, SARS-3, will only kill kids. How about that? How about it only kills kids? All the kids die. There you go. And that'll be hilarious. That'll be, how do we make that funny, huh? God damn it. What you got? I'm doing comedy tomorrow at the Peasants Great Hall, the Great Hall of Peasants. And here I am. It seats 50,000. And here I am there, and it smells. And they've all lost their kids. They're all recently, all their children have recently died, and I have to entertain them. This is what I'm tasked with. And I have to be like, ooh, so you guys go to any funerals? I can't go too dark, Just be like, maybe some of the, I heard those kids weren't good kids. I heard only the bad kids die. I start. I see. That's more stuff I'd have to do to. See, so I think I'm getting the hang of how I could cater to the aristocracy, the digital royalty that's coming. The incoming. I don't know, Mark Zuckerberg's executive level guys that work at his corporation or whatever. These are the kind of people. The fucking director and above at Google. Those are the people who will have their vassals and whatever, and there'll be digital vassals. I'm assuming a lot of this stuff will be VR, virtual stuff, and so that's great. I mean, there's no money, so what do I get? Oh, information. That's right. I'll probably get more info, which leads me to more jokes, and then the real conundrum is the masses, though. All their kids are dead now. They own nothing. They have a lot of money. I mean, I guess it depends on how dark we could go. We could be like, hey, listen, I love kids too, and I know it's sad that you lost your kids, but a little extra scratch at the end of the month, Get yourself that other, that PS6 or whatever, and get yourself that new thing. You get yourself something nice. Get yourself that. You lost a kid, fine. You lost a kid. You know what? You know what you do? You go take some of that extra money, that kid money you put aside, to pay for his whatever, even though you don't need to. You get money every way. You don't need to. You don't need to. You know what you do? You go and buy a kid. That's what you do. So that, it doesn't kill all the kids. COVID-25 doesn't kill all the kids. It only kills half of them. So, the other half, you might be able to get away with a little scratch. Actually, money is worthless. So what do you got? Well, you got dicks and pussies. You offer your ass for pussies and dicks. You offer your dicks and pussies for the kid. I don't know how that'll work. I guess you offer to fuck. So if you're a parent who had just lost a child, you can offer to fuck another parent who has their child still to take their child, because the most valuable currency in this time will be pussy. Pussy will be the most valuable thing. Second will be dick. Ass will be third. Is that how it works? Yeah, I think that's how it works, because the first two are like procreating things. And even though I'm not a breeder and I'm not religious, I can still understand the intrinsic value of that over the asshole. Okay? I'm not saying the asshole isn't available or an option. It's there. Asshole and mouth are there. They're probably sort of the third bronze tier. I prefer mouth. But listen, this is not what this is about. This is about the coming Great Reset and the ensuing comedic world order that will follow. Okay? So that's really all this is all about for me. Is how will I make the impending new neofeudalism funny, and how will I perform to the two distinct groups now, the very tiny concentrated amount of wealth wealthy individuals that exist now, and then, of course, the rest of society, the unwashed masses, all of them. How will I entertain all these people? That's all I really want to do, is I want to become the Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart of the New World Order. Okay? That's what I want to be. I want to be I want to be the Mozart of the Great Reset. Deal with the unders and the highs and the lows. I want to deal with the court, and I want to deal with people who just got out of court. Those are the two things. Those are the people. Those are my people. All of you are my people. I guess I like rich people and poor people. I like them all. I like black people, some white people, and I like Jews. I like Muslims. They're seriously like the same. Chinese. I like the Chinese. I like Chinese people. I like Chinese food. Chinese government. I'm scared of. I could grow to like them. I'm not saying I'm not. Hey, you give me the right amount of gold. I don't know. No, Bitcoin. I don't know. Whatever you got. COVID 3. Give me the third COVID. Give it to me. I'm not a kid. I'll be fine. I'll be immune. Whatever it is, I'll take it, and then I will learn to do comedy for the Chinese Communist Party. I feel like it's a lot of Uyghur jokes, a lot of jokes about Taiwan, how shitty Taiwan is, how we could just fucking kick Taiwan's ass. Probably black people too, probably racist. I think they would like racism. I know they would. I know they would because most people do. And around the world, it's like the racism's like 20 years behind. So there's a great gold. I could just rip off everybody. I could just become like a Carlos Mencia of the CCP. There's a whole world of opportunity out there, guys. So don't be discouraged, is all I'm saying. Yes, is there an impending authoritarian sort of cracked government lockdown coming? Yeah. Is it here? Yeah. Are they digitizing everything? Are they tracking your every move through your phone, the Alexa? Is there going to be an internet of bodies, like Whitney Webb says? By the way, Jesus Christ, at the end here, don't listen to me about all this stuff. Either go look it up or listen to people like Whitney Webb, who's a better journalist than I, covering the stuff. Fuck it, you could even listen to Alex Jones, honestly. The stuff he's saying is not wrong, okay? But don't, conspiracy. I have the document. All right, guys, thank you so much for listening. Please follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Thank you so much for the people who've been liking my stories and my podcast. Thank you very much. Follow me, whatever, online. Oh, go to YouTube. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Subscribe to my IGTV, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google, all of that stuff. Thank you so much for listening.